Oh, snap. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. On Rumble, hit the follow button. And on both, hit the thumbs up. Welcome in, everybody. We're live on TikTok as well. Live on all three platforms right now. Lovely to see everybody. If you like true crime, stick around, y'all. Ooh, Kimberly says, love true crime. Followed. Hell yeah. There we go. We got Manda in the house too. Oh, snap. Tarjay in the house. Target. All right. Lovely to see you guys. We're going to talk about Micah Miller here. First, I've been basically just finding anything like and everything about this story. I've posted a thing I saw about all this crazy shit JP was saying at the church, like during his sermons. And I was like, what the hell are you even talking about? I posted JP's dad posted or did a statement, if you could call it that. Whoa.
How dare you?
That was hard to read, literally hard to read. But I just posted that, so y'all make sure you go check that out. Yeah, so I saw this one. I don't really watch this person, but I know that they're like pretty big in the true crime world. And I guess some people love her and some people hate her. But I figured, hey, it's about probably one of the biggest cases, if not the biggest case that's happening right now. Let's talk about it, y'all. You guys ready? Here we go. YouTube. I'm shrinking myself down, and let's take a listen.
Bombshell tonight. The FBI now called in to investigate the shooting death of Micah Miller.
Oh, damn.
The glamorous wife of a local pastor who authorities say took her own life. Micah found dead in Lumber State River Park from a gunshot wound. Her family now urging authorities to further investigate the death. This, as we learn, his ex-wife said much the same. Reports now surfacing the pastor not only posted, wait for it, intimate photos of Micah, his wife, online, but then apologized for his evil. Question, which evil?
Oh, Lord. Oh, please, for the love of God, don't do his... I don't want to listen to his stupid voice again, y'all.
I think she did was so creative. What's the next picture?
Okay.
She had my face right there.
That is the estranged husband, John Paul Miller. We have guinea pigs, and sometimes they hiccup and they go, that kind of sounds like that. That is seemingly very emotional video of the pastor at Solid Rock Ministries. He actually went on to deliver his wife's eulogy and is now claiming he tried to, quote, raise her from the dead. Now,
You what?
Man, when I heard that shit pissed me off so bad. I was like, dude, first off, calm the hell down with that. You sound crazy as hell. This isn't Easter. Relax, JP. You sound crazy when you say something like that.
certainly not a Bible expert, but I can tell you, in the history of the earth, I've only known of one person that raised somebody from the dead, and it ain't him. Okay? With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. Hold on. I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth. Listen.
Damn.
I got this lay next to her body and spent time with her body about 4 times this week, and each time it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up. You know, I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week, and
That is crazy as hell.
Okay, she's not waking up. Why? Because this beautiful young preacher's wife is dead from a gunshot wound. So far, we're not getting a lot of information about, for instance, trajectory path. Was a gunshot residue test run on her hands? What do we really know? We
Yeah, exactly.
know there was a 911 call, But what more do we know? This is authorities insist this was a suicide, but friends and family insist. They want the FBI to further investigate her death, and apparently that is happening. You were just seeing video from Solid Rock Ministries in a seemingly emotional eulogy. At this hour, the FBI reportedly opening an investigation after bombshells surrounding her death, including reports that her husband, John Paul Miller, posted, quote, intimate, I hate to think what that is, photos of his young wife online, and then leaving no room for, hey, did he do it or not? He apologized for his, quote, evil. And I want to warn everybody on the panel that we have just gotten a letter from the Russell B. Long attorneys at law threatening everybody if they say anything that disparages the pastor. But you know, it's really interesting that his former wife got a divorce because she claimed the preacher was having an affair on her, including with the babysitter. Who's the babysitter?
Micah Miller,
Micah.
the damn babysitter.
Okay, back to our panel. Joining me, a special guest right now. This is Micah's sister, Sierra Francis, with us. Sierra, first of all, we are so sorry about what you and your family are going through. A lot of us on the panel have been victims of violent crime, including myself. And I think the worst possible thing that could happen is to lose your child. You're suffering from losing your sibling. And what a beautiful, beautiful girl on the inside and the outside. Tell me about your sister.
Micah was amazing. She was energetic. She was funny. She was always trying to make sure everybody around her was happy, and she was always trying to include everyone. She was very passionate about her missions trips to Kenya and nutrition. She was just an all-around wonderful, God-fearing woman.
When did she meet the preacher that became her husband?
It would have been probably in 2007, 2008 when our family moved to Myrtle Beach. Collectively, our stepfather and mother moved our whole family there. And
Angie, thank you.
we began to attend Solid Rock when it was a smaller congregation of maybe 30, 40 people.
Jeez. By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. If you like true crime, I'm live every single night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Hit the follow button. Tap the screen like crazy, y'all. We got 25,000 likes. Let's get 50,000 likes. Thanks for being here. And if you want to watch the video along with us, y'all, you can see the video on YouTube. Just search The Mystery Project. You'll find it. The Mystery Project on YouTube and The Mystery Project on Rumble. That's what the true crime channels are for YouTube and Rumble. The Mystery Project. Search it. Come join in. We got 50 people watching on YouTube right now. We got 150 watching on Rumble. Shout out to y'all. But TikTok, hit the follow button, tap the screen like crazy, and come on over to YouTube and Rumble if you want to, or just put it up on your TV and watch the video and be chatting in the TikTok chat. All right, let's keep going. And thanks for the gifts. You don't have to do that, but I appreciate it, Angie. Thank you. All right, let's keep going.
How old was Micah at that time?
Probably around 13 or 14.
What the fuck?
Is that when she met the preacher, John Paul Miller, that she would marry?
Yes, that would have been around that time.
Is it true that at that time he, John Paul Miller, was her youth minister?
I believe so. I know that he was involved in pretty much every aspect of the church because it was such a small church.
I'm very curious also about everything was said in the eulogy. You know what? I'm very curious about how all this is striking you, Sierra, Micah's sister. Take a listen.
I can't even imagine what her family is going through. And then on top of what they're already going through, listening to somebody say, I'm going to try to raise her from the dead. Just like that, too. Man, what?
To this.
While Micah Miller's family and friends hold service beachside for Micah, John Paul Miller delivers a eulogy for his estranged wife, Micah Miller, at Solid Rock at Market Common. Miller seems to cry without any tears while talking about how he tried to raise Micah from the dead. Claims he laid down with his wife about 4 times, and when he took a dog tag necklace Micah had given him to the mall to get it fixed, he saw a woman wearing Micah's dress with the same tattoo and hairstyle. He calls out, Micah! But it was her sister. Thought he had raised Micah from the dead.
You what? Wow.
To Sister Sierra, did that really happen?
It did, and I was carrying my children at the time, and my son was very afraid, and he said, we have to go right now.
Why was your son afraid?
Because we're very open with my son. Micah has come to my house multiple times to get away from her estranged husband, so my son is very aware of the dangers surrounding him, to the point where whenever Micah passed away and my son came home, and I had to tell him that she had passed away, he said, this is all John Paul's fault.
I've had a lot.
Oh my God. I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard that one. Did y'all know that? Micah's sister's son, so her nephew, when her sister said that, he said it's all his fault. Whoa. I didn't know that he said that. Damn.
Of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse, and I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me.
Doesn't she seem like just like the sweetest person? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't she just seem like the absolute sweetest person? Like, she would plan like the best Sunday brunch you've ever had in your life. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have all day, and like the whole group, everybody would be having fun. Everybody would just be like having a great time. And she'd be like, yeah, just happy that everyone else is happy. She seems like she was just an absolutely incredible person.
Lately, and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head, just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. God hates divorce. But why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
I'm gonna say that the perpetrators of that should burn in hell.
Joining right now is
You'll burn in hell for that one, Stella. Thank you.
another special guest, Tracy Brown, who is a body language expert, author of How to Detect Lies, Fraud, and Identity Theft. You can find her at bodylanguagetrainer.com. Tracy, thank you so much for being with us. I know you have studied Pastor John Paul Miller's movements, his
Oh shit, I want to know about this. Y'all.
speech. I was referring earlier to the hiccups, which apparently was a facsimile of crying. And I also noticed that
Facsimile. Damn, Nancy, that's a $5 word, facsimile. By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. Let's get 50,000 likes, y'all. Thank you for the gifts, the hearts and stuff. You don't have to do any of that, but I do appreciate it. Thanks for the love and the support. This channel is not monetized, TikTok, at all, other than the live gifts and the subscriptions. So thank you for supporting the show. And if you want to see the video, come on over to YouTube, search The Mystery Project. You can watch the video. You can see the video. You can not just listen to it like you have to on TikTok. All right, let's keep going.
one of his assistants came out and gave him a box of hankies, and he went, no, I don't need that, because there didn't seem to be any actual tears, just the
Yeah, because it was crazy as hell.
sounds. But I'm just
Sounded like he, I don't know, it sounded like he went to Raising Cane's and the chicken tender was like too hot. He's like, It's like dipping in the sauce, bro. That's the whole fucking point. Anyways, before I start getting mad again, like I did last night talking about this guy, I'm gonna hit play.
Just a lay person.
And Naz, thank you. Anji, thank you.
I'm just a trial lawyer. What do you, the body language experts, see?
Oh, I want to hear
Well, we
this.
didn't see tears. We,
No, we didn't.
didn't see eye redness. And the most important thing that we saw is that the emotions, the sadness got shut on and off like a light switch.
Oh shit! Good call, lady. Good call. I like this lady a lot already. Oh, we hit the goal. Thanks, y'all. I like this lady already. She's calling it like it is. Yeah, no eye redness. He could just shut it off.
And that's not how emotions work.
Yeah, exactly.
Emotions are chemically based, and so they build slowly and they dissipate slowly. Like the chemicals have a half-life. And so this is the first indication of faked sadness here. Now, what's more important is when I profile people, because I listen closely and I want to understand, what does this person want me to know about them the most? And what he's doing throughout this whole eulogy is selling how much he has tried to please her over their life together.
Yep.
And also
Stella,
what a
thank you.
good guy he is. So this is the subtext of this is more of a sales pitch about what a great person he is.
Everything I've heard from this man sounds like a sales pitch. You nailed it, lady. Like after everything he says, I expect him to be like, so make sure you go down in the description and click the link so you can download my absolutely free PDF, my digital booklet of all the, like, everything this dude says sounds like he's trying to sell it to you, which is not very sincere and not very genuine and really starting to piss me off. TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Keep tapping the screen. Let's get 50,000 likes. And come over to YouTube. Search The Mystery Project.
Is. Now, if we dive deep into his exact words, what he does throughout this, and here's one of the statements, and this is a quote: everyone knew how beautiful she was on the outside. Only a spouse, okay, so he didn't say him, he said a spouse, that's distancing.
Ooh.
Only a spouse knows how beautiful that person is. That person, again, distances, how beautiful that person is on the inside. So he has statements similar to this throughout the eulogy where he distances himself from her. Another one is, imagine being married to that, right? Which is another psychological, emotional distance statement that we see from him.
Crazy as hell.
And what's missing, because the other thing that I do when I profile people is I go, okay, what's missing here? What's missing are the typical things that you would hear in a eulogy from a husband, right? Which is how much he misses her.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Naz, thank you so much.
How shocked he is, because what he says is, it hasn't hit me. He says it hasn't hit me. He says it 2 to 3 times in there. And so he's not revealing any emotional attachment to what happened. Now, he also says that he's not talking about how much he loved her. He doesn't talk about any of those things that would be typical in a speech such as this. So,
but wait, he says that he laid down next to her and tried to raise her from the dead. You what? Oh my God. What? Cardi B, what do you think about that?
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I agree. Annie Elise, you got anything to say?
Unhinged bananas crazy.
Yep, agree.
All these things really add up to someone who is not being genuine in their emotion. Now, we don't have a smoking gun with what he said. I'd like to see an interview with him specifically about this, but like a police interview.
Yeah, because all this doesn't mean he did anything. It just means it's fucking weird. You know what I mean? And like with everything that's come out and with everything that, even like the stuff that I posted, never said he did anything. He didn't do anything that we know of. But just the stuff that we hear and the way he says things, and it's like, oh God. Like if you could get arrested for just being a dirtbag, I mean, boom, that's life right there. You know what I mean? That's a wrap. Put a bow on it and see you later. Under the jail with you. You know what I mean? just being an all out just greaseball dirtbag. You know that like used car salesman like with the key ring swinging it around his hands, like going like he's got that vibe. Like he just oozes ick. Is that the word the kids are saying nowadays? Ick. He's got the ick factor,
which I haven't seen.
which sadly isn't a crime.
Bruh.
But we have some disturbing behavior here.
Well, as a matter of fact, isn't it true to Sierra? This is Micah's sister, who is literally speaking to us through her tears, real tears. At one point, he was trying to apologize for posting nude photos of her. I assume they were intimate, so I can only guess nude, online, and said he wanted to, quote, attack and cause pain for Micah. You know what? As many arguments as my husband and I have had over the years, especially since we had children, I've never wanted to hurt David. And I can honestly say he's never wanted to actually hurt me in any way, even when we're angry about some issue.
Yeah, because when you love somebody, you don't ever want to hurt them. You might get hurt and things might hurt you or hurt each other unintentionally, or you go, oh shit, I really shouldn't have done that. But you don't want to do that.
But to write out, apologize for posting nude
Smitten Kitten, that's what he said. Yeah, he wanted to hurt her. That was in the damn email.
photos of your wife online and say, I'm sorry, I wanted to.
And who does that? I wanted to hurt you, so I posted you online like that. What? Man, you are crazy as hell.
Attack and cause you pain?
Yes, that's very normal behavior for John Paul.
Oh, she said that's stone-faced. I don't know if y'all TikTok, you didn't see that, but YouTube and Rumble, you saw that. She said that's stone cold face. Did you see that? She went, that's very normal for John Paul. Didn't even blink. Ooh.
He's always done that
Why
to her.
do you
He's
say
very
that?
That's what he always does. If he can't get his way, he will act as a child. He will throw a tantrum. He will cause a scene.
He'll fall out of his truck and cry on the front lawn of his friend's house.
You what?
Holy hell. That was hard to watch, y'all. I literally thought if I had just closed my eyes and you were like, describe what you think is happening in this video, I'd be like, oh, there's like a 3-year-old that didn't get to go to Chuck E. Cheese. And now they're in the grass going, and I'd been like, that's what that has to be. And then you say, no, it's a 30-something-year-old man crying that his wife caught him cheating. And I'd be like,
You what?
huh? Man, you crazy as hell, dude. All right, let's continue.
And he will make sure that the other person suffers. And like you said, there's emails proving it.
Man, we suffered enough having to listen to that.
I've had a lot of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. God hates divorce, but why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
You know, I want our body language expert, Tracy Brown,
Sarah, thank you. That was Micah talking, Bridget.
the body language trainer, to listen
Missing people are no, not yet, but send me a message. I'll check that. I'll definitely check that out. Thank you.
to this. More of the preacher. And remember, everybody, he sent a legal threat letter stating, don't talk about me. Okay. Let's listen to
The hell? That's like the Martha Streisand effect. Martha Streisand. Did I just combine two people? It's all about connection.
Connection.
The Barbara Streisand effect, where she like didn't want people to know about that house, and then she's like, "Don't download my house," and it went from like 6 times, and 3 of them were her own attorneys, to like hundreds of thousands of times. Don't talk about me, but I'm going to send out a press release and do all this stuff telling you not to talk about me.
the words from the horse's mouth.
I can't wait to see her again one day. She was so creative.
Too bad, bro. She's in heaven and you're gonna burn in hell.
It was just always just coming out of her. Imagine being married to that. It was like that in our house all the time.
God, his voice is nails on a chalkboard. It's worse than that. I can't even describe to you what his voice sounds like. His voice sounds like a female dolphin giving birth in like the 1700s. I don't know how else to describe it, and I don't even know if that made any sense or why the 1700s would have anything to do with it, but it just pisses me off.
Dear Lord in heaven. Okay, that is a seemingly emotional video from Solid Rock Ministries. You know, I've got so many questions for Sierra, but to
Sarah, thank you.
Our body language expert, Tracy, here's a few things I noticed having put literally thousands of witnesses on the stand for direct and cross-examination. For instance, the pacing.
Oh, she was an attorney? I didn't know that.
Back and forth.
Y'all, I like her, but there's a lot of people that say they don't like, what's her name's Nancy, right? They say they don't like her. She's kind of like edgy, but I dig it. Thumbs up. You guys like her? I'm liking this episode at least.
Smiling inappropriately during the eulogy, the wiping tears over and over that don't exist, the rubbing of the hands repeatedly throughout, the touching the head, touching the hair. There's nothing to adjust. His hair's like that long. What is he doing?
He's acting crazy as hell. Sarah, thank you for subscribing. Y'all, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The clapping, and the seemingly endless, I don't know what is that?
There's small repetitive movements that we'll all do when we need to let off stress. So this is a high stress moment for him. Now, we also saw what I thought was really interesting, and what you don't see from a lot of preachers or a lot of people that are used to speaking, is his hand in his pocket. And I looked at it pretty closely, and it might even be in a fist. And that's when we're holding something back. We're holding back information, or we're holding back emotion. If that hand indeed is in a fist, that says anger. So all of these things add up to something that our mind sees.
Sarah, thank you.
And it goes, wait a minute, something's not right here. Something's not right here. And that's because the emotions are not genuine. And, I'm not going to speculate as to why they're not genuine, right? Body language tells you what's on someone's mind. It doesn't tell you why. You have to put together
that's pretty smart right there. It tells you what, but it doesn't tell you why.
List to that. And I think there's plenty of evidence that other folks have for that. But what we're seeing we're seeing disingenuous behavior.
I pray for your healing. The circumstances would change.
Oh, damn, she got good tone, too. That's a good tone, good pitch.
Pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name. I pray that a breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name.
Let's go. Damn. Yeah, she is incredibly talented. JP, man, you should be listening to that. That's what you're supposed to sound like. You're not trying to sound like I don't even know what, like a Sesame Street reject, like a Muppets failure, squeaking and shit. Damn, she sounded amazing.
Micah contacted police after her estranged husband
John, thank you.
posted an indecent photo of her on a Facebook group called Big Boobs and Nice Curves.
What the flip? Sarah, what are you doing? Going haywire. Thank you for the love, you guys. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You don't have to send any of the gifts or anything like that. But I do appreciate it. Thank you for the love and the support, y'all.
Police told Micah since the photo was posted anonymously, there was nothing they could do. John Paul Miller apologized.
What the hell? A Facebook group and it was posted anonymously?
apologized to Micah via email, telling her, "I'm sorry for putting a picture of you on the internet."
Well, there
He
you go.
added, "I just wanted to try and hurt you." He also included, "It was evil of me to do that."
No shit.
Evil of me to do that. Okay, curious. After an intimate photo of his wife unclad was posted online by him and he admits it, why no charges? But
Right? Stella, thank you.
I don't understand why no charges, why no arrest, but that's not all. Listen.
Just weeks before her death, Micah Miller calls police for help when she finds a tire on her car's flat. Police discover a tire deflator is used on the tire.
Oh, yeah. This is crazy as hell.
Micah goes to East Coast Honda in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to get a new tire, where John Paul Miller shows up. The two get into an argument. Video shows John Paul Miller aggressively walking around Micah, threatening to post a picture online, while Micah says, "Walk away." A mechanic later shows Micah a GPS tracking device had been placed on her car.
Wait. That video that was circulating of her being like, "Yeah, you're going to be in jail." And he's like, "I'll post a picture on Facebook earlier." That's what they're talking about right there. He's talking about posting that picture. And that's when she was filming him? Damn. Ooh.
I'm very disturbed about this. Kayla Brantley joining us along with Micah's sister, Sierra Francis. Kayla Brantley, investigative reporter, dailymail.com. Kayla, we have two incidents, one admitted, one observed, that they're both illegal. Posting photos of a woman or anyone online where they are nude or partially nude
Lisa, thank you.
Against their consent is illegal.
Illegal. Yeah, big time.
Placing a tracking device or cutting someone's car tires, illegal. Why no arrest, Kayla Brantley?
Well,
It's illegal to put a tracking device on someone's car? I didn't know that. I mean, I know it's weird, but like I didn't realize it was illegal. These damn girls putting their AirPods in the car. Gotcha, bitch! Oh no! That's why I like the iPhone says a device in your car is tracking your movements. I'm like,
how dare you?
I'm just kidding. I made that up, y'all.
According to police, they allegedly told Micah that despite all this evidence, that the photo that she allegedly sent him, once you send a photo, it's now no longer your property and that now belongs to her husband. And also that in the photo, there was actually muzzing around any parts that would make it fully nude, which then means that it apparently
The hell?
does not count as revenge porn.
That corns, TikTok. Sorry, y'all. TikTok overlords. Which I see it all. Don, thank you so much. I see it all the time. People comment and they're like, "Oh, you can't say this word. You can't say that word." It's like, yeah, that's why I didn't say it. Because I'll say like unalived because it's on TikTok, right? And they're like, "Wow, you can't say," and I'm like, no, because if I could, I would. We think I just like making up words to appease the AI robot people? No. But it just blows my mind how people just don't get that. So y'all, if you hear us say something, especially in the true crime community, that's something that's like unalived, whatever, it's because the algorithm will absolutely destroy you. It hates y'all. TikTok hates me. The overlords, man, they hate me because I tell it like it is. I'm not afraid to be like, no, that's stupid, and I call them out, whoever it is, on being stupid. Y'all know that. So if TikTok can't handle it, sorry, not y'all in the chat, but like the overlord people, the crazy AI people that just hear a word and they're like, you can't say that. Yeah, no, that's why we're live on YouTube and Rumble as well. TikTok. So we got 811 people watching on TikTok. We got 100 people on YouTube, and we got almost 200 people watching on Rumble. Y'all come over to YouTube and Rumble. Search for The Mystery Project. That's the name of the channel over there. Hit the follow button here to TikTok because we're live every night at 9 p.m. Pacific time on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Rumble all together, same time. So let's go. Let's keep going.
So basically, when Micah came to them, they told her that there was nothing that they could do.
Okay, to Regina Ward. She was the lawyer for Micah on the divorce proceeding. Now here with Micah's sister Sierra. Regina, that's not true. When you post a photo of someone without their clothes on against their will, that's illegal.
Mm-hmm. No, they didn't have kids together.
Yes. In more ways than one.
Well, what I don't understand is why there weren't any charges. I guess that's my question to you. Why weren't there charges?
As far as I know on that, it's the police took the position that it was posted anonymously.
Nothing's posted anonymously. K.A. Pisces, thank you. $2 super sticker. Me, Beaker. Yep. Hey, you
Because
nailed
I
it.
understand, therefore, not enough, quote, evidence to say that it was him. I don't think he made an admission until later. So it'd be interesting to see if they'll follow up now with that crime and pursue it.
Sierra is joining me, Micah's sister. Sierra, your sister Micah never gave him permission to post that photo of her. He has apologized. He has apologized for the car incident. Why no charges?
Like Regina said, I would hope that the police will follow up now that there is proof of these alleged crimes that he was keeping his hands clean of and making it so difficult for Micah to prove. And now that he's admitted that he did commit these crimes, I see no reason why they cannot hold him accountable at this point.
To Brian Foley joining me, high-profile lawyer, former chief prosecutor, Harris County, Texas, and author of What Prosecutors Don't Tell You. Brian Foley, let's just break it down. Typically, when somebody
She does sound a lot like Micah, yep.
posts revenge porn,
Corns, Jesus Christ.
they won't send it from their account. They come up with a fake account. They do it at the public library, some way that it can't be easily traced.
Jenny, thank you.
But guess what? It can be traced. That's
Of course it can.
what the police or the sheriffs are supposed to do. Trace it and prosecute it. Not say, oh, it was anonymous, sorry. That's not how it works.
That is crazy as hell. Jenny, oh my God, you're crazy as hell. Thank you. Yo, thank you for the love.
Foley?
Well, in some instances, it's because the image itself doesn't qualify. Like, for example, in Texas, we have a rule that says the person's face has to be identifiable. You have to be able to say it's a specific person. So if you cut out the face, it's no longer under that statute. It sounds like like there was some blurring that happened to these photos in particular. And the police keep doing, in the original investigation, and I guess in this revenge porn investigation, they keep following the law. Which I, as a defense attorney, I think it's a good thing that they are not.
Okay, hold on. Let's find out more about that photo. Sierra Francis, this is Micah's sister. Tell me about the revenge porn that was posted.
Oh my God. Sorry, I got to keep saying that because TikTok gets crazy. Y'all.
Of your sister. What was it?
So John Paul had assumed basically Micah's identity while he had her hospitalized. He took her Facebook, her cell phone, her laptop, her iCloud. He took everything, and he was pretending to be her, texting people, emailing people, posting on her behalf as though he was her. And at one point,
yeah, this part is crazy as hell, y'all. He's like saying all kinds of stuff, telling people random shit, trying to make up this whole storyline of shit, and it wasn't even her.
He posted a topless photo of her face in the picture. And he added some sort of hue over it, like if you took a highlighter across the front of her chest, just to barely cover. You could still see what exactly what it was. But I guess he knew that since he posted it, one, off of Micah's account against her will without her permission, he thought he would get away with it. And to this point, he has.
And there's the issue of the flat tires in the GPS tracking device, which he apologized for, reportedly. Of course, he is claiming and insisting that he is not guilty, he has not been named as a person of interest or suspect in her death. Guys, I want to go on quickly to the bombshell now. The FBI reportedly being called in to investigate her death. to Sierra. This is Micah's sister. What is it you want the FBI to do?
So we know that Robeson County has said that the FBI is investigating, but we don't know exactly, what their investigation will pertain to. I would love for them to go and investigate, what the cops were able to discover and everything leading up to her passing away. Because as everyone has uncovered, there's a lot more to this story than what meets the eye.
And even an earthly spouse.
That's the truth. If you want to find this video, Michelle, if you go to YouTube, the Mystery Project on YouTube, it's in the description. This video and then the other ones we're going to watch tonight.
Who's a good spouse.
Bowie, thanks for the follow.
When they know that their bride is being
Don,
hurt.
thank you.
Just imagine what an earthly spouse does. What do you think your heavenly spouse does? When you're the bride of Christ and he sees his bride going through abuse and hurt.
Oh my God.
What do you think he thinks about that?
Yeah, that's at that point you're not a husband or a wife or whatever. If you're hurting the other person, that's terrible.
John Paul Miller's ex-wife, Allison Miller, filed for divorce from John Paul Miller after finding out he was having an affair with their babysitter and his best friend's wife, Micah. Micah Miller was...
Oh, yeah, and it was... Yeah, she was married, and he... What's it called, the wedding? Officiated the wedding and stuff? Oh, my God. We saw that video last night.
Married to John Paul Miller's best friend, Jeremy Deese, whom Micah married when she was just 18.
And then they divorced, I think, when they were 21. She was 21.
Wow. Okay, so let me understand. To Kayla Brantley joining us, investigative reporter with dailymail.com. The other wife, the previous wife, Allison, I've been reading her affidavits in her divorce, and in her affidavits, she states that John Paul Miller, who is threatening
Sarah, thank you.
Anybody that, defames him. So let's just commit to speaking the truth. I'm down with that.
Chat, there you go. That's good.
The first wife says that church leaders demanded he seek counseling for sex addiction, but when he refused, the majority of the church left the congregation. She also states that he was having multiple affairs and that Trump...
Sin, it's totally fine. TikTok hates me anyway, so... Who cares? Who knows what's going to happen? Not y'all in the chat, but like the overlords. Like the platform is crazy as hell. The platform is crazy as hell. But that's why we're also live on TikTok and YouTube. So come on over. Hit the follow button here, y'all. If you're new here, my name's Patrick. If you like true crime, guess what? Boom, I'm live every single night. I wish I didn't have to be, though. I wish I could come on here and we could watch Care Bear reruns or like Captain Planet. I wish I could just binge watch 90s cartoons again like when I was a kid. But I can't. We can't do that because the world is screwed up. The world is a crazy ass place, and we talk about this kind of stuff. It sucks. It really does. But if you do enjoy a little bit of true crime now and then, we're live every single night, y'all. 9 p.m. Pacific time. Hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen too, y'all. Let's get 100,000 likes, TikTok, and come on over to YouTube. Just search the Mystery Project. You can find the channel. Subscribe. We're also live on Rumble. Come on over, you guys. All right, let's keep going.
Trying to dodge alimony payments. He showed up in court in a wheelchair and claimed he fell out of a tree and broke both legs.
You what?
I didn't know that part. I knew the dodging alimony part, which, again, if only you could be arrested for being a dirtbag.
That's the first wife. And I'm getting this from her affidavits and her claims. What about it, Kayla Brantley?
Yeah, that's right, Nancy. So dailymail.com, we obtained that affidavit and there were bombshells after bombshells in it. Now, she accuses him of having a porn addiction, accuses him of having a prostitute.
Oh my God, corn and prosthetics,
addiction, a sex
TikTok overlords, entertainment, educational purposes only, TikTok.
addiction. And apparently he did seek counseling or refused to seek counseling after the church pressured him to do so, which then led to a lot of his congregation leaving, because obviously you don't want to have a pastor who's accused. She does also go on to say that Micah was their babysitter.
Yeah, for real though, because no one's perfect. Like, I get that. Like, no one's perfect. And sometimes people make horrible choices and then they turn their lives around and then they better themselves and they don't do that kind of stuff. And sometimes they find religion and God to help them through that stuff, and they're way better people. And sometimes nothing really changes. And sometimes just people are just gigantic piles of human garbage, no matter what happens. And it just doesn't ever change. So, Dawn, thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for the love. You don't have to do any of that. But hit the follow button if you're new here and keep tapping the screen like crazy, y'all. Let's get 100,000 likes.
And that they started having, you know, a relationship while they were married. And of course, he's 14 years older than Micah. So when she's saying that he groomed her, if they did meet when she was 13 years old, he's 14 years her senior, an adult with children, married.
And I want to point out in the legal letter that was sent to us by the preacher's lawyer, our client refutes any report that suggests he abused his wife. Recent reports claim Pastor Miller, quote, groomed his wife from the age of 10.
What? What the fuck?
That in fact she moved to Myrtle Beach at age 15. And I believe that is when he was her youth minister.
See, that's the part that because when we heard about that last night, I think it was, I was like, what? How could that attorney be like, it didn't happen when she was 10. It happened when she was 15.
How dare you?
What? Does that make it any better? Because that's what it sounds like you're saying. Weird.
Sierra, what went through your mind when you learned your sister had been shot?
Instinctively, I just assumed that we would have an arrest and we would be able to finally
Whoa.
have some closure of what she was dealing with and all the terror that she was living through. And obviously we haven't gotten that, and that's pretty rough.
Guys, we were speaking to Sierra Francis. This is Micah's sister. How did you discover your sister had been shot?
I got a call from my brother that Micah's roommate was trying to find out where Micah was. She said that police had showed up at her house because Micah did not live with John Paul. So the police showed up to his roommate's house, to her roommate's house. And she then reached out to the family, and my brother called me and said something's wrong. The police are at Diana's house. We need to find Micah. So I immediately called another one of Micah's friends, and she informed me that John Paul had said that Micah was dead. So
Oh my God.
I immediately called John Paul's sister because she lives at John Paul's house. And John Paul was on the phone with the hospital, and he was seemingly hysterical. It sounded very fake, and he was saying, why would she do this, Sierra? Why was she sad? Who was she seeing in Lumberton?
Did it sound like this? Why was she doing that? Because I bet that's what it sounded like.
You what?
Because that's what he sounds like, y'all. Have you heard the videos? Did you see the videos? If not, on YouTube, watch the video from last night, because we played every bit of it. And they played it at the beginning of this video, too. That's what he sounded like, y'all. I can't make that shit up. I'm literally just... And it's spot on. Thumbs up in the chat if that's a spot on... not interpretation. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, I'm going to shut up and let's keep going.
Micah's dead, and he was just going on and on. And I said, are you joking, John Paul? You know exactly why she would have done this if it was her. And I said that you have been making her life hell for the past couple of months, and he hung up on me.
Reenactment, impersonation. Yeah, impersonation. That's the word I was looking for.
Then he texted my family and said, this is what happens when you tell someone to divorce the man they love.
Oh, yeah, that text message pissed me off, too. See, that's one of those things. Man, did y'all see that text message? He sent it to the whole family. It was like 5 people in that little group chat. It was like, this is what happens when you What do you say? Oh no, it's like, this is what happens when you tell somebody to divorce the person that they love. You know what he sounds like? He sounds like the dude that was like, your widow watter on your TRD pro. That's what he sounds like.
He said, good job, Francis family. And that's how the rest of my family
Oh man, that one pissed me off.
found out that Micah passed away.
Okay, wait, would you repeat that, please? I didn't know that.
Yes, he sent a text message out to my parents and siblings. I'm not sure exactly who all was in the chat. It was a previous chat. He just pulled it up and he texted saying, this is what happens when you tell someone to divorce the man they love. Good job, Francis family. And that,
man, you were gonna burn in hell for that one alone, y'all. That's crazy as hell to say some shit like that to a family after they lose their daughter, regardless of if you had something to do with it or not. We don't know, right? It's all speculation and all, he's not been charged with anything, right? It's all just, we don't know. But even if you had nothing to do, who says something like that? Like, what are you trying to prove in that text message? Like, you're just like, you're that much of a vile human being that you're just like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? In their most horrible time, like they're just most distraught, horrible time, I'm gonna just lay it on thicker and let them know that it's their fault. What? Oh my God.
How dare you?
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
that's how he informed, my siblings.
Oh, and Jenny, thank you so much. Unbelievable. Y'all, thank you for the love on TikTok. I appreciate it. Hit the follow button too if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. Let's get 100,000 likes. We are very close, y'all. We are dangerously close. Thank you so much for the love, y'all. It just helps spread the word. I don't do like the shop thing. I don't try to sell y'all shit you don't need, which is kind of weird. And I don't monetize the channel, like the views and stuff. So I appreciate the love and the support, y'all. Thank you so very much.
So my parents and Micah have passed away.
Again, he is not a suspect in the death of Micah.
Yep, not at all, y'all.
It has been ruled a suicide. Friends and family are begging the FBI to further investigate. To Sierra Francis, I'm concerned, and this is what concerns me. The alleged revenge porn for which he
corn. Jesus. Thanks for the donuts, y'all.
apologized for doing it. The slashing of the tires, which reportedly he apologized for doing, the tracking device, all of that is illegal and no charges were ever brought. Do you trust the local investigation? What is your hope for the FBI? And again, the pastor has not been named a person of interest or suspect. What is your hope for the FBI, Sierra?
I hope that they will pursue this and to the fullest of their legal, obligation, instead of just Micah getting dead end after dead end after dead end every time she filed a police report, every time she called and asked them a question, hey, what can I do? How do I pursue this? She was getting basically, doors shut in her face every single time. So I hope that now, with the gravity of things and how extreme and how nationwide this has gotten, maybe they will look and see, either one, they
worldwide, not just nationwide, worldwide.
need to readdress some of their protocols, or two, they need to look at their people and say, did you follow protocol and did you do your fullest extent, or were you just not wanting to get involved because it's a marital dispute? Because obviously to her, it was a big deal.
But I mean, not getting involved because it's a marital dispute, that doesn't make sense, because statistically it's the spouse that does it more often than not. So that would be even more of a reason to take it serious, right? I do. And then it's like, well, now statistically, you're the person that's going to end my life. Figuratively and literally. Crazy.
Pray for your healing.
Oh, there we go. I like how they throw in bits like this on this, because it's like, it's so much like, oh my God. And then we get to hear a beautiful voice. Let's go.
Circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee in Jesus' name. I pray that break
Yeah, her tone is so good.
through would happen today. I pray miracles over your life in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name.
Oh yeah.
I've had a lot of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me lately and reminded me, because I think I forgot. I knew, but I pushed it in the back of my head just because of my situation. But you are the bride of Christ. God hates divorce. But why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people?
Well, of course.
How do you think God feels about that?
You're hearing Micah Miller posting about the suffering and the pain she says she was going through.
Oh.
Reminder, authorities have not charged her husband in any way with her death. Joining me in all-star panel, but now
That's
special guest is with us, Alicia Young. Alicia is a very dear friend of Micah's and a former friend of John Paul Miller's, the estranged husband.
Oh, I like the big emphasis on former friend of JP. Don, thank you.
Why are you considering yourself a former friend of John Paul Miller's?
So during our time there, my husband was actually the worship leader when we were there. And so we were very close with them because we were in that inner circle. And when we left the church, our friendship between me and Micah got severed because of him. And our relationship with John Paul, we ended that because he didn't want to listen to anything that we had to say. All the issues that we were seeing with him and the church. He just...
What issues?
So with how they treat women and how I got treated at the church is basically they celebrate men. And with women are only supposed to be seen and not heard. He didn't like when a woman had a strong opinion or was, kind of outgoing in a way. I was trying to find a different word, but...
Did it make him fall out of his truck and cry on a lawn? In his friend's yard? Because we saw that.
It was all about the men in the church, and that he would state in sermons of, men, you just need to go find a hot wife.
How are you going to be like, how are you going to try to be like that way and sound like that? You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to be like, yeah, I'm a macho man, and sound like a dolphin giving birth in 1712? You know what I mean? How are you going to do it? It doesn't make sense. It's like, does not compute. And we talked about that last night. And especially, it's the ones that say it like that, and like, they're like, I'm this, I'm that, are like the furthest thing from that. You know what I mean? Because like he said, oh yeah, 1712, so specific. I know, right? But he said something, and it was just like, I remember just being like, dude, it was like talking about like, oh, you don't deserve to be my first lady and feel what it feels like to be my first lady, and all this stuff about like how he's supposed to be like this masculine dude or whatever. And I'm like, you're the opposite of that, because you shouldn't have to say that. If you are a man and you do provide and you do protect, you don't have to say that shit, and you wouldn't want to. It's not about getting praise for it or something like that. It's just they know it. Your wife or your girlfriend or your partner just knows it. They know that they're safe. They know that they're protected. They know that they can count on you to protect them, and key here, not hurt them in any way. Like, but for him to be like, oh yeah, and this and that, and blah, blah, it's like, what are you talking about?
Bruh.
Anyways, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. Let's get 125,000 likes. Thanks for all the live gifts. You don't have to do that. Randy, just like that. Thank you so much. You don't have to do that though. But if you guys want to watch the video with us, come on over to YouTube. Just search for The Mystery Project. You can find the YouTube channel, and you can actually watch the video with us. All right, let's keep going, y'all.
Because that's what matters. And with the women in the church, like I wasn't allowed to do anything in the church at all. He didn't want me on the platform to any capacity because of how I looked and because of how old I was. I was already in my 30s. I was heavier at the time, and I wasn't some young 25-year-old with a hot body. So he didn't want me at all on the platform.
What?
To Brian Foley joining us, renowned defense attorney and
Ella,
former chief prosecutor, Harris County, author of What Prosecutors Don't Tell You. Brian Foley, I think that authorities are dug in that this was a suicide, but I want you to listen to this.
As carbon monoxide begins to fill his truck cabin, Conrad Roy III gets out, texting Michelle Carter, he'll do it another day. Carter texts to Roy are challenging, telling him he overthinks things. Carter texts Roy, you just said you were going to do it tonight, and now you're saying eventually? Carter tells Roy to get back in the truck. Conrad Roy III gets back in the truck. Authorities discover the body of Conrad Roy III in his pickup truck parked outside a Kmart in Fairhaven, Massachusetts the next day.
Oh, I remember this, where the girl that was told the guy to do this? I remember that. Dawn, thank you. Who just said, will you guys pin that one again? He said he was a pastor. Oh, right there. Roger and Jessica. As a pastor, this story does concern me. Right? Exactly. Because it's crazy as hell. And we talked about earlier, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody wants somebody to be perfect, preaching down to you from like a pedestal of like, I am holier than thou, I'm perfection. They don't want that. Nobody needs that. They need somebody. Maybe you've gone through some stuff, but the key is that you've changed. You have given up the things that you know are hurting you and hurting people who love you and hurting your relationships and stuff. And you're trying to move past that, and you're showing people strength by fucking example. Sorry for dropping the F-bomb, but by example. I did this. I don't like the way it made me feel and what it made me do to other people. And I changed that. This dude, he's not changing shit. It doesn't seem like it. And again, there's no, like, he's not a suspect. Like, there's nothing to say anything about that. But from like just as a person, what I've seen of him, in my opinion, dear God, too bad. I mean, it's good for him that you can't be arrested for being a dirtbag. Like, just scummy. Ugh. Anyways, let's keep going. Roger and Jessica, shout out to you guys. Thanks for popping in, dude. Give you a follow.
He was 18.
My point, Brian Foley, in that case and many others like it, which we have here to name for you if necessary, Michelle Carter was prosecuted and convicted for aiding and abetting the suicide of Conrad Roy. The texts and conversations she had with him, the messages are
I remember that.
Sickening, basically goading him to commit suicide. So my question to you is your thoughts on defending the pastor against claims he goaded Micah into committing suicide, like Michelle Carter and others.
So first we start with, it sounds like everybody's on the same page. He didn't pull the trigger. He wasn't there. It was Micah who pulled the trigger, ending her own life. If we're that far, then the only question we have left is, as public policy, are people responsible for the actions of others? And we have criminal culpability in some instances if you're both committing a bank robbery, if you're actively engaged in it. JP was not actively engaged in it. We have information from her cell phone. The police have already released it. She looked up the area in that part of the town, and we're kind of assuming that he's both bumbling around and can't keep things together, and he's obviously lying on the at the pulpit. It's a suicide, and to hold somebody else responsible, you have to think, well, we're talking about JP and airing out all of his information. If he were to commit suicide, are we responsible for that? No way. Those are individual decisions, and the Conrad Roy case is also very different.
I pray for your healing. The circumstances would change. I pray that the
This is Micah singing, y'all.
fear inside would flee. In Jesus' name, I pray.
And she was gorgeous. She was gorgeous. She had a gorgeous voice.
That
It's so heartbreaking, y'all.
breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name.
Welcome back, everybody. Listen to this.
I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And yeah, it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina.
That is from our friends at Solid Rock Ministries, and a seemingly emotional comment by her then husband. They were not yet divorced. Many people disagree with any such suggestion that there was emotion there. That said,
yeah, who says, "Oh, my wife passed away," and then he goes, "And it was self-induced"? Like, who says that? Like, the second sentence of that is, "Oh yeah, it was self-induced." What? Again, he's not a suspect. He's not a suspect at all. No charges, nothing. Right? But just from like a compassion standpoint, you're not gonna be like, "Oh my God, my wife passed away, and she's so," like, no emotion, just straight to, "My wife passed away." And like, to me, it almost sounds like, "My wife passed away, and I had absolutely nothing to do with it because it was self-induced." You know what I mean? It's like, something feels weird.
What?
Something feels weird, y'all.
How dare you?
All right, let's keep going. TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. We got 1,000 people watching on TikTok. Hit the follow button, tap the screen like crazy. Thank you for 125,000 likes. Let's get 150. Thanks for all the gifts, y'all. I see the gifts coming in. You do not have to do that at all, but I appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the show. Come over to YouTube and Rumble. Search for The Mystery Project. That's the name of the channel on YouTube and on Rumble. If you want to watch the videos with us, come on over. All right, let's keep going.
reports
And we got cases to talk about after this too, y'all. So stick around.
the FBI are now entering
The next one after this, y'all. David Copperfield. Yeah, remember that magician dude that made like giant shit disappear? He's wishing he can make about 16 women right now disappear because he's got all kinds of backlash from these things coming up. 16 women. David Copperfield. This is crazy as hell, y'all. And it's not the one that he sawed in half and all that shit. All the, no, this is crazy. Let's keep going.
the investigation. Kayla Brantley joining me, investigative reporter, dailymail.com. What is it assumed the FBI can do?
Well, Nancy, you're looking at everything that we said before. Why didn't the police get involved after there was a nude photo? Why didn't police get involved after the fact that he admitted allegedly to putting a tracker in her car or slashing her tire? So I think the FBI coming in is really going to push this case forward and potentially and hopefully do what the local police could not.
I'm curious, is it true, to anyone's knowledge, of what has been reported, that he actually went into court in a wheelchair when he was fighting alimony payments and said that he fell out of a tree and broke both legs? Kayla Brantley, is that true?
Well, that was one of the things that was mentioned.
Man, it sounds like someone fell out of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. What are the cats doing? Y'all have 2 cats and they're going haywire right now. What are y'all doing, huh? I'll try to get one over here too if you guys want to see the kitty cats.
In the report that we did get from 2017 from his ex-wife, Allison. Now, she mentioned a lot of instances of abuse, of infidelity. So that's just one of many big issues that we're having here. And going back to Micah and the local police, she reported 8 times in the months leading up to her death to police with clearly nothing to be done.
We await the entry and the involvement of the FBI in the investigation.
I pray for your healing. The circumstances would change. I pray that the fear inside would flee. In Jesus' name. I pray that a breakthrough would happen today. I pray miracles over your life. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name.
Oh, that was it. Oh my goodness. Jade, yeah, I don't blame you. That's a great song. Oh, she's got a great voice too. All right, y'all. That's the what we got going. That's what we know about the Micah Miller case right now. We've done 3 nights in a row. We've talked about her. 3 nights in a row we have talked about her. But now we're gonna talk about this dude. I haven't even thought about this guy in like 20 years. But like I said earlier, some crazy stuff's coming out about David Copperfield. What? Oh my God. Let's give it a go. You guys ready for this one?
He's been called the greatest illusionist of our time. But will David Copperfield be able to escape from the latest allegations against him? We're taking a closer look at new accusations.
He looks crazy as hell now, too.
Of sexual misconduct against the world-famous magician with former sex crimes prosecutor Serena Townsend.
Oh my God. He looks like a villain from that Netflix show Ozark. You know what I mean? Like he looks like a dude that would move in and he's like, you encroaching on my territory. You know what I mean? Like he looks like somebody that what was the girl's name in Ozark? The curly haired girl. Like it looks like a character that she would have like beat up or something.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. David Copperfield is the latest.
Yeah, it looks like something that Ruth would have like just been like, oh hell no.
Celebrity to face a slew of sexual misconduct allegations. The U.S. division of the UK-based Guardian newspaper says 16 women have come forward to them with accusations against the 67-year-old. Some of these claims are from...
He's 67? Oh, my God. Oh, and shout out to Dawn. Thank you for the off the grid. I just saw that. Thank you so much, Dawn. You were so sweet. Y'all put some hearts in the chat for Dawn. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Incidents they allege happened decades ago. Now, more than half of those women claim that they were under the age of 18 when these things happened. Some of the women have told their stories before. Others are making claims for the first time. Right now, there doesn't seem to be...
Did y'all catch that? TikTok, you didn't because you can't see the video. But YouTube and Rumble, did you see that? Did you see that sign behind
Serena
his head?
Townsend.
You think that was not on purpose? Look at this. Look at the sign behind
against
his head.
David Copperfield in connection with these acts.
And right when they were talking about some of these people being under the age of 18, did anybody else catch that?
Accusations.
Come over to YouTube right now, y'all, and see what I just saw. Tap the screen like crazy. Hit the follow button if you're new here, and come over to YouTube, search The Mystery Project right now. Watch this.
And that's what they are right now, accusations, allegations. But that is, of course, always a possibility.
Oh, wait, I wanted
to face a slew of sexual misconduct
Sorry, y'all had to rewind it.
Allegations. The U.S. division of the UK-based Guardian newspaper says 16 women have come forward to them with accusations against the 67-year-old. Some of these claims are from incidents they allege happened decades ago. Now, more than half of those women claim that they were under the...
Boom. Look at that sign back there. What do they call those people? Oh my God. The Lord works in mysterious ways, y'all. That's crazy as hell. Isn't that crazy?
age of 18 when these things happen. Some of the women have told their stories before. Others are making claims for the first time. Right now, there doesn't seem to be any legal action against David Copperfield in connection with these accusations. And that's what they are right now, accusations, allegations. But that is, of course, always a possibility. It's something I want to explore right now with former sex crimes prosecutor Serena Townsend. Serena, good to see you.
Thank you.
Shocking to see this. I mean, I think for me, the last time I thought about David Copperfield was
Chrissy, yep.
We'll get to it in a minute. He was mentioned briefly in the Epstein docs, but
oh, hell, yep.
2018, he had this lawsuit filed against him for one of his shows. Somebody had got injured. He was actually found negligent, but not financially responsible. Haven't thought about David Copperfield in a while. We see this headline from The Guardian. What's your impression?
My impression is when you have 16 people come forward who don't know each other and tell stories of sexual abuse, or
where there's smoke, there's fire,
even rape in some of the cases.
Grapes.
There is some credibility right out the gate to those stories. It feels that way, at least, because these women don't know each other. And like you said, nobody has thought of David Copperfield that much recently. So it doesn't feel like, you know, these women are coming forward because they sense that they can make a dollar or two out of him. It feels like the timing is such that, you know, maybe something did happen. And now that these women are older, they're looking back in hindsight and saying, something was wrong here, and I want to come out with my story.
And sometimes we see that. We see papers do exposés on people. Same
Yep, that's exactly what it said.
thing happened with Harvey Weinstein with the New York Times. It sometimes comes out of nowhere. So here are some of the allegations.
Oh, Jamie, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for all the nights spent together. Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. I didn't think anybody was going to care about having, you know, listening to me talk about these kind of cases and stuff. I thought I'd get like 6 people.
That these women are making, which span from the late 1980s to 2014. At least 3 women say they believe they were drugged by the magician, then they were sexually assaulted by him. The Guardian reports it also heard stories.
Holy hell, that's him. Looking like a member of the Bee Gees. Nobody gets you much heaven no more.
About Copperfield groping women or making them touch him suggestively during live stage performances in front of an audience.
Oh, hell.
One of the women who had come forward previously was Brittany Lewis. In 2018, she spoke with the entertainment outlet The Wrap. The site also interviewed her family and friends who say that she told them decades ago about an alleged assault by David Copperfield. In 1988, Lewis was a 17-year-old model competing in the Look of the Year contest in Japan. Copperfield was apparently one of the judges. And when she returned back to the United States, she says David Copperfield invited her to one of his shows in California. Her grandmother agreed to let her go. She says that she was treated to a VIP experience. She told The Wrap that she was with Copperfield at the hotel bar when she saw him allegedly putting something in her drink, and she later blacked out. She says that she has these hazy memories of Copperfield.
Oh, hell.
Taking off her clothes, being on top of her. He sent her home to Utah the following day, telling her nothing had happened because she was a minor, but also insisting that she write a letter saying she was all right. Lewis told the outlet that she doesn't plan to pursue any civil
Man, that is crazy.
criminal action against Copperfield, but felt emboldened to speak out thanks to the Me Too movement. So the big question I have for you, Serena, and that's kind of a sampling of it, do you expect any kind of legal consequences, either criminal or civil, for David Copperfield after the release of this expose by The Guardian?
You know, it would require the cooperation of each of the women in order for a civil or criminal lawsuit to be pursued. So if they are telling, you know, a tell-all to a magazine or a newspaper, but they're not pursuing charges, then it's going to be quite unlikely that we're going to see anything come of it. But at the same token, you know, if they are looking for justice, or, you know, if they're looking for some sort of you know, either compensation or some sort of jail time for David Copperfield, they're going to have to pursue it in the courts.
Stella, thank you so much. Bethany, thank you.
And at that point, they are going to have to face cross-examination and examination of their credibility.
A lot of this will also be based purely on their testimony and not on physical evidence or digital evidence, right? So that it would really all come down to them a lot of times.
That's right. And it's very difficult. I mean, there are people who don't say what happened to them for a long time because of shame, embarrassment, fear of retaliation, or fear that they're not going to be believed. We see this all of the time. It's called a delayed outcry. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not credible, but at the same time, it does sometimes make it that much harder for, let's say, a prosecutor to move forward with a criminal case because the evidence, if it had existed back then, is no longer there. It's just usually the testimony of this woman or these women.
But from a criminal point of view or a civil point of view, isn't there an issue of statute of limitations? These claims are too old?
You know, it is very interesting. It would go state by state. The statute of limitations could have run in several of these cases. But for example, in New York, there's been a recent reopening of that window called the Adult Survivors Act, where people can, you know, sue their perpetrators even when the statute of limitations had actually expired.
Good. And they should make an example out of those people. If these people are crazy enough and disgusting enough to do that kind of thing, those kind of things to people, hold their asses accountable. And that's the big problem right now, is that a lot of people just don't think they need to be held accountable. And it is crazy as hell. Oh my God. You're going to end up on this show right here, and I will make fun of you. I will point out how crazy you look and sound and all the hypocrisy that you have. I will do it. So you don't want to F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. Let's get 150,000 likes, and thanks for all the donuts, y'all. We're trying to get 500 of those things. Thank you for the love. You don't have to, but I appreciate it. Come over to YouTube. We got 150 people watching on YouTube, and we got 234 people watching on Rumble. Y'all, let's get 200 people watching on YouTube. Come on over. Let's do this. Just search the Mystery Project.
There's a look back and a reopening of the opportunity to do that. So these women will have to determine, or their lawyers will have to determine state by state, whether that look back exists or whether for some reason the statute was told. And there are possible, you know, loopholes there for these women to move forward with cases.
Now, in a statement to the Wrap, Copperfield's representative said in part, quote, "Most of these historic accusations have been made before, and all of them are as false now as they were then. They even requested the evidence upon which these false allegations claim to rely, and this has not been provided. By contrast, whenever U.S. law enforcement has looked into such matters, they have been investigated thoroughly, and it has been found that there is simply no case to answer. The Guardian's characterization is not who David is, and he continues to support anyone who has experienced any form of abuse or discrimination." And the rep added, "David will be considering the position with his legal team and will take such steps as may be appropriate over these false and scurrilous allegations." Does that mean a lawsuit? Does that mean a defamation lawsuit?
Right. And so if these women are going to come forward only with a newspaper article or with, you know, without moving forward into a courtroom where their credibility can be tested by cross-examination or either, you know, evidence or a lack thereof, then it's, you know, the person who's being accused doesn't have the ability to confront their accuser in that way. They don't have the ability necessarily to say in public, you know, here's my evidence, or here's the cross-examination where we are able to discredit these allegations. And therefore, they could claim, if this has any financial effect on his reputation or on his business, that these statements are libelous, slanderous, and he might be able to file a defamation lawsuit. Keep in mind, though, with defamation, truth is a defense. So he's going to have to wade very carefully into that legal field and be ready for that potential confrontation of the truth or untruths.
But that means he would also go after the Guardian, right? And if he does, I have to imagine the Guardian must have gone through a number of different protocols before they write an article like this against, you know, such a high-powered, high-profile individual.
Sure. There are a lot of rules that, you know, newspapers and magazines have to follow before writing their stories. Not only do they have to cover, you know, themselves by looking at whatever evidence they can get a hold of, but they also have to couch their language as a form of, this is an allegation. They can't say that this actually happened. And I do think that The Guardian and other news outlets have done that. They've been able to say, while these women are saying X, Y, and Z, don't forget these are just allegations. And they have also posted his side of the story, his statement through his attorneys. So they have probably been able to cover themselves.
Look, these are really harrowing allegations. And we're talking about another high profile, very powerful, wealthy individual. I mean, David Copperfield has been a staple in the magic game for as long as I remember. He made the Statue of Liberty disappear in New York, back in 1983. He's won, I think, 21 Emmy Awards, holds 11 Guinness World Records. He's a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I think he was knighted by the French government. He's I think he's listed, by the way.
He was knighted by the French government. Whoa.
As a living legend by the U.S. Library of Congress. He's been in Vegas for decades. I've seen his show so many times. And whenever we talk about allegations against somebody of his stature, there isn't always a thought, they're going for the money grab. They're going after him because he's rich and famous. How is that complicated here in terms of David Copperfield?
Absolutely. Any good prosecutor or any litigator knows that when you go up against a celebrity, you cannot ignore their celebrity status. You can make that argument in both directions, by the way. You can make the argument that because he's a celebrity, this is why these women are saying it. They are looking for money. They're looking for some sort of fame. It never really happened.
Yeah, but you can also say that he's a celebrity. He thinks he can just get away with this stuff because he knows that people are going to be like, oh, that's just a money grab, whatever.
And on the other hand, you can say because he was a celebrity, perhaps he did take advantage of his stature and he knew that nobody was going to go up against him because he was too valuable. His status as a magician.
That part. Crafty Devil, thanks for the heart me. Y'all, everybody watching, do me a favor. Click that little orange heart up here next to my name somewhere. Watch what happens.
By the way, I mean, one could argue if he was able to make the Statue of Liberty disappear, what other kind of illusions was he able to do in order to trick these women or to trick his audience?
Well, he had sleight of hand, right? And they said that one girl said that she saw him put something in his drink. That's literally, he could just be like, and she didn't even know what's happening.
All is so important to take into consideration. Even if he were, let's say, to take the stand in a criminal case or a civil case, how does that affect a jury? Does a jury look at him as a showman and therefore they don't believe him? Or do they look at him in awe because he's able, to convince them? He is an illusionist. So his celebrity status has to play a role in every single step of this evaluation.
And by the way, the complaints that he sexually assaulted women on stage during live performances, multiple people around in the audience. What do you make of those claims?
Listen, one might say that if everybody saw it happen, he would never have done it? Why would he have ever done something everybody would witness? However, he makes his living with sleight of hand movements, with illusions. And so it is quite possible that some of the things that he did, while on stage, but secretly. There was an allegation, I think, that he had put his hand, in an area of a woman where it may not have been seen by the audience. And if he is so talented.
Oh, hell no.
To be able to do tricks and fool his audience with respect to his illusions, who's to say that he could not have done it, on stage? And sometimes that gives people a power trip, right? He's able to say, I was able to do this and I fooled everybody. Maybe it's his greatest trick of all. So those kinds of claims, you have to test it. You have to be able to, ask.
That is crazy as hell. Sweetie Pot, thank you for the
right questions of both the person who's making the allegation and test it against any other possible evidence, maybe other witnesses and maybe himself.
He's claimed that there's been complaints against him before. He has claimed before that he's been falsely accused of sexual misconduct. In 2007, there was this former beauty queen, Lacey Carroll. She accused Copperfield of assaulting her on his private island, I believe in the Bahamas. FBI ended up investigating, raided his warehouse in Las Vegas. The case was closed. There wasn't any further explanation.
Disney, thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome in.
She filed a lawsuit against Copperfield, dropped it. Copperfield's legal team said there was no settlement. She was later arrested, by the way, charged, I think it was in Washington State, with various different offenses. And in an interview with Oprah Winfrey after this investigation closed, Copperfield told her that he was the victim in all this. In 2018, when the Wrap ran the story about Carol, Copperfield said in a statement, "I've lived with years of news reports about me being accused of fabricated, heinous acts, with few telling the story of the accuser getting arrested and my innocence. Knowing that false accusers can negatively impact the believability of others are a true disservice to those who have been victims of sexual misconduct, I didn't draw attention to it." How does that complicate everything?
It certainly does. Listen, it's not that people have never made false allegations in a sex crimes case before. It can happen. I don't know enough to know whether this was or was not a false allegation. But that being said, just because one person may have made a false allegation doesn't mean that the other 16 haven't.
I'll tell you what, Lewis, the woman I mentioned before, when she saw the reports about Carol's accusations, I believe, and allegedly, she went to the FBI to back up this woman's claims, says she had an interview with agents, but nothing really came of it.
Interesting. There's also the idea that even if something happened, if there's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, the FBI or the police may not be able to move forward with a case. And that is the sad truth, by the way, in many cases where something happens to somebody, and unfortunately, by the time they speak out about it, there may not be enough evidence to corroborate what had happened. Especially with the FBI, it's different from state cases. With a state case, I sometimes feel that police and prosecutors are a little bit more willing to move forward with the case, whereas the FBI, when you go federal, a lot of times they really want a slam dunk case. They don't want to lose. They want to make sure that they have a ton of evidence before they move forward. And so it is possible that the FBI felt they didn't have enough, but there might be enough for a civil case because that burden of proof is lower than beyond a reasonable doubt. And so we have to always be careful to make claims that something is false. Just because something is not able to move forward in a criminal place because you need so much proof, like I said, beyond a reasonable doubt, it doesn't necessarily mean that it did not happen. It could just mean there isn't enough evidence to move forward in that arena.
I want to end this conversation with Jeffrey Epstein, because you might remember that David Copperfield was mentioned in these court documents as having connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Not that he's one of the purported people.
Oh, Jesus. They put that picture up. I thought the Maxwell lady was David Copperfield.
You what?
Oh, I'm getting tired. Y'all, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're not watching on YouTube or Rumble. You can't see the video. But I when they popped the picture up for like a split second, I was like, oh, Jesus. Holy mackerel. If you don't believe me, come on over. I'll leave the picture up for about 20, 30 seconds, y'all. The Mystery Project on YouTube, the Mystery Project on Rumble. Come subscribe. TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Tap the screen like crazy. And thank you for the donuts. I appreciate it. We're trying to get 500 of them. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going. Oh, my God. Doesn't it, though? All these pictures we're looking at?
Part of his sex crime ring, nothing like that. But in documents that were released earlier this year in connection with a defamation lawsuit against Epstein's former Madam Ghislaine Maxwell, one of Epstein's accusers said that Copperfield had visited Epstein in the past and testified that she met Copperfield at a dinner at one of Epstein's homes. And she says that Copperfield performed some magic tricks before asking if this woman was aware that, quote, girls were getting paid to find other girls. And she says he didn't really go into any further detail, including whether the girls were underage. But again, what do you make of that comment, that connection in light of what we're hearing now?
A lot of times we like to judge people by the company that they keep. And in society, we do that all of the time. And it's like, if you don't want to be judged the way that your friend is being judged, maybe you shouldn't be their friend. Then again, I don't really know if maybe he was just hired to perform there rather than actually, have this strong relationship. We don't really know those details. And then, of course, in the courtroom, we always want to make sure that we're not convicting people based on extraneous things, propensity evidence. you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's really not allowed in a courtroom. And so, you know, if these claims were to move forward criminally or civilly, they would have to be tested on its own. You know, they would have to be tested on its own evidence with its own, you know, people. And, you know, as much as we would like to potentially say in society, we do this, we make assumptions about people, and we judge them based on their company. In a courtroom, it really does have to be solely evidence-based, and that's what the jury would have to be told.
And I believe Copperfield's lawyers have said that he was not aware of anything Jeffrey Epstein was involved in, no crimes, only learned about them when the media and the press came forward. But one of the lawyers for an alleged Epstein victim, Brad Edwards, said in a tell-all book, this is our understanding, that he had served Copperfield with a subpoena, but was unable to depose him due to a number of legal and logistical roadblocks. And, you know, of course, even if he was able to subpoena, doesn't mean he would be able to provide, you know, bombshell information about Jeffrey Epstein. But it's just something to think about. And what a development, to say the least. I'm sure this is not the last we've heard of David Copperfield's name in the news right now. Serena Townsend, good seeing you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot to digest, y'all. That is a lot to digest. And I stick with the fact that he's probably wishing he could make, well, he made the Statue of Liberty disappear, but he's probably wishing he could make this disappear. Holy hell, y'all. I was going to try to do another case, but I'm not going to lie. I am so tired. I'm going to end it a little bit early tonight, and we'll pick it back up tomorrow, y'all. I have got to get a good night's sleep. But I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the support. I love all of you guys and girls. Thank you so much for the support. YouTube and Rumble, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment when the video ends. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9 p.m. Love you guys. Good